They remember you as the ever since person. You're the ever since this. You messed my car up. You tore my car up. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing another vlog video, and today's topic is going to be a little bit more fun. What I want to talk about today is my pet peeves against customers as a mechanic. So if you're new here and you have absolutely no idea who I am, my name is Mason. I am a Ford technician. Oh my God, my truck's shaking like hell. So if you're new here and you have absolutely no idea who I am, my name is Mason. I am a Ford technician. So if you care anything about Ford vehicles, you want to make sure that you have went down and pressed that red subscribe button. That is very important. So my pet peeves as a mechanic. When I first started thinking about ideas for this video, the first thing that popped in my head, it just makes me so mad when this happens. That is when a customer brings a car into the shop and basically I feel like I'm on an episode of Hoarders. I know some of you that might not work, have never worked as a mechanic and you're in and out of customers and other people's cars all day. You really just don't understand exactly how nasty people are, like just how filthy some people out there are. So it's really not even the filth that bothers me. I mean, having a nasty vehicle is one thing, but what really gripes me about this pet peeve of mine is when someone brings a car in and say, for instance, I got to put an evaporator core in. To do that, I have to roll the dash out of the vehicle. Well, people bring their cars in, and I mean, like the whole dash, the whole top of the dash is just full of stuff. Passenger seat full of stuff, console full of stuff, and these customers knew that this is a repair that I was going to be making, that I had to get the dash out. In order to do that, I have to move all their stuff. Probably sounds messed up, but what I do when that happens is I literally get a cardboard box and I sling all of your stuff into that cardboard box. I don't care if it gets broke. I really don't. I just don't care. I'm so mad and aggravated at that point. And this doesn't really apply to people who just keep a little small things here or there. Like, that's no big deal. But I really wish I'd taken some video of some of the stuff that I've seen over the years. Just like, you would be amazed at some of the just clutter and crap that people leave in their cars whenever they know a mechanic's going to have to move it to do whatever repair to that vehicle. So that's probably, honestly, that's probably my biggest pet peeve at being a mechanic with customers. Period. Yeah, that's probably the biggest one. I boiled all of these pet peeves down into 5. I probably couldn't come up with 200 of them, but we're on a limited time here, so we're just going to stick with 5. The second one being, and this is something real small that people just don't think about. A lot of people nowadays, especially with the way people are getting robbed nowadays, a lot of people keep lock and lug nuts on their wheels, which is fine. I understand that. You don't want somebody stealing your wheels when you're in a bad part of town. But what really drives me up the wall is when customers lose or they just don't know where their locking lug nut socket is. So then if I have to pull the tires off something, I have to go locate that, and I have to sift through people's glove boxes and their consoles, and then sometimes you still don't find it. You call them and they say, well, I don't know, I hadn't seen it in years. Well, I just spent 15 minutes looking for it in your vehicle that I didn't get paid for, and that it really just drives me insane. It honestly does. It makes me want to pull my hair out or find something else to do. So if you have lock and lug nuts on your vehicle, be the nice customer. Just get your socket wherever you keep it. Put it in the cup holder before you take it in for your tire rotation. Your mechanic is going to love you if you do that every time, because that is such a big time saver when I don't have to spend time looking for your stuff that you should really be keeping up with in the first place. All right, so our third pet peeve, this one doesn't actually happen that often, but I have had it happen several times. Maybe not to the extent I'm going to describe it. Whenever a customer brings me a vehicle to repair that has already been tore apart. So when I say already been tore apart, like, I don't mean you tore it apart and put it back together. I mean, you tore it apart and just left it that way and figured out that you couldn't fix it or you didn't know how to put it back together. Then you had to bring it to me. So you would think, you tore it apart for me, so that, makes my job easier. I have less stuff to do. I don't have to take it apart, but it really just doesn't work that way. When I take something apart, especially if it's something that I'm not familiar with, I am very meticulous in the way that I keep order about the things that I take off. So if you took it apart and threw everything in a cardboard box and just brought it to me, yes, most of the time I can probably figure out how to put it back together. You're probably going to get charged more than you would if you just brought it to me together, just because of the fact that I had to sift through your stuff and try to figure out where it came from. So don't do that. If you don't think you're comfortable with attempting a repair, just take it to somebody who knows what they're doing, somebody who can handle the liability whenever they can't put it back together. All right, so our fourth customer, this customer is a one of a kind. They really are. They're not a lot of them out there, but there are a few. And this is the ever since guy. The ever since you changed my oil, my air conditioner stopped working, or ever since you put spark plugs in my car, my rear end makes a noise. The ever since guy is, nobody likes them. Nobody likes somebody that complains about something that you know is not related to the repair that was made. You know it's not related. Like, it's not even close to the same thing. I don't mean something that, you know, possibly could be related. I'm talking about things that, like, you know, I've honest to God seen customers, I really have, that come in for an oil change. You change the oil in their car, and then they get back in it to leave the dealer, and they say their air conditioner isn't working. But it was working before we changed the oil. Us draining the oil and putting new oil into the engine caused their air conditioner to stop working. I just want to fist fight people like that. I mean, it's crazy. Come on. So please don't be the ever since guy. If something is related to a repair that was made, most places will honor that and try to make it right. If it was something that was caused by a mechanic there at that wherever independent dealer or whatever, most of the time. But if it's something that's just not related, you know it's not related, please don't try to get over on a mechanic, because it's just going to hurt you in the long run. Because then the next time you bring your car to that mechanic, he really ain't going to work on it, if he even does work on it, or she. And even if they do work on it, they're probably not going to do a great job, because they remember you as the ever since person. You're the ever since this. You messed my car up. You tore my car up. Our fifth pet peeve of mine. This is the kind of customer that just they think that they know a lot about vehicles. They think that they know a lot about being a mechanic and fixing cars. But the truth is that they really don't. They know how to Google things. They know how to go off of what other people said, but they don't actually know how to do it themselves. And this is the I diagnosed it myself guy. So the I diagnosed it myself guy, he's the person that brings you his vehicle and doesn't ask you to diagnose his issue. This is the kind of person that brings you their vehicle and says that I've already diagnosed it, I just need you to replace this part. You might be saying, well, what does that matter to you, you know, as a mechanic? I mean, that's less that you have to do. The problem with this scenario is that majority of the time, whatever part they diagnose doesn't fix it. So what happens is, you come in and tell me that your car has a bad EGR valve. You say it has a bad EGR valve. I don't question it. I just do what the customer asks. I'm just going to do what you tell me to. So you tell me to replace the EGR valve, I replace it, and it don't fix it. Well, now you look at me like, what'd you do wrong? Like, I know that's what was wrong with it. Why didn't it fix it? And majority of the time, those customers they don't understand that they just diagnosed it wrong. It didn't have anything to do with me or anything to do with anybody else. They just didn't know what they were doing, and you know, they wasted money. And I feel like the reason people do that is to try to get away from that $100 or $150 diagnosis charge that most places charge you. But the truth is that in most cases, you're just better off letting that person diagnose it. Let them figure out and tell you what's wrong with it. That way, whenever they put that part on there and it doesn't fix it, then they're on the hook. They're the ones that told you that was what was wrong with it. So if that wasn't what was wrong with it, then it's their responsibility at that point to, you know, make it right, because you just spent the money on something that you didn't even need. All right, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up our pet peeve video. I hope this was a fun topic, something kind of a little bit out of the norm from what you might see with my videos. Most of the time I'm telling you how you know, bad you got screwed by buying a 3.5 liter EcoBoost or something. Anyways, that's gonna wrap this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you would, go down in the comments and tell me some of your biggest pet peeves. If you've ever been a mechanic or you are working as a mechanic, I'd love to hear some other people at what just drives you absolutely insane that a customer does. I would love to hear from some of you, so hit me up in the comments. And if you haven't already, make sure that you go press that red subscribe button. You don't want to miss out. Bell notifications on, that way you are the first one to know when I post a new video. I appreciate you guys watching. That's going to be it for this one. Peace out.